So, off to a strong start. By the time I got home from college, recharged all my batteries. Literally every single battery in my life was dead. Filmed this video, filmed it again. Camera died, so then I had to film it again. By the time this video is actually done and distributed, it possibly won't be Mental Health Awareness Day anymore. But it's Mental Health Awareness Day right now, and I couldn't not do anything for it this year. The last 2-3 years have been kind of quite crucial for me, and my relationship with myself and my mental health has really shaped my journey through life on the whole. I needed to share something, say something, talk about something. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jamie Buchanan. I tried to market myself in the name of J. Buchanan Moving Image, but no one's calling me that yet. I'm a dancer, filmmaker, performer. I do all sorts of things, and today I'm talking to you about why I think we need to talk more about the relationship between dance training and mental health. In this video I'm also going to talk a little bit about myself, my journey through training and how my mental health affected it. But that's a long conversation, maybe one for a different time. I really mean when I say though, happy Mental Health Awareness Day. I want to say how great it is the amount of people I've been seeing airing their laundry in broad daylight and letting everybody know that doesn't feel safe to do that yet, that they're not alone. I think days like today where everyone just takes to the internet and just talks, it's wonderful, and I wish it was every single day. Days like today are so important for our society to move forward and for us to feel like we can talk about stuff. British people don't talk about stuff. It is killing us. So let's talk about stuff. Let's talk about dance and mental health. I love dance, and I love dancing, and I think the power of choreography, creativity and expression are so vital for everyone. I wish more people danced, I wish more people created, and dance has definitely saved me a good few times. I want that to be known as I start this conversation. And I'm also not bashing institutions either. My college is really great for supporting mental health and dance, and I'm just trying to start, you get it. When I was in secondary school, I was dealing with undiagnosed dyspraxia and ADD. School was exhausting for me, and early on I developed a kind of jadedness when it came to stress and stuff. It just wasn't worth it. I didn't get stressed about school. That was me in secondary school, and dance was my release. Dance really gave me a sense of purpose and self. I went through what a lot of boys that start to take dance get, and that was a bit of bullying. Fast forward to full-time training, and dance is no longer your hobby, no longer your release. It's your life and it's your grind, it's work. And that's a transition that a lot of people struggle with anyway, realising, oh, hold up, dance used to be fun, now it makes me cry. Dance is inherently hard. The hours are just long. You are dancing at the very least in our timetable for 3 solid hours, but most of the time it's 6, so people have rehearsals, and then it's 9 hours a day. It's grueling on the body and it's taxing on the mind. On top of timetable and rehearsals, some people work, some people have part-time jobs, or they try and maintain relationships and social life, and the average dancer has a ridiculously, inhumanly full timetable, and it's for a job that's not the most secure thing in the world. It's highly competitive, and particularly in contemporary, a lot of it's just based on you creating your own work and opportunities. So it's not very secure, which also means when you're struggling with why you're going in and putting yourself through this every single day for no real reason or tangible outcome, that can be something that's really hard to deal with. Add the competitive nature onto that insecurity. If you let yourself start looking at everybody around you as competition, you start comparing yourself to others, you start to very quickly escalate the sense that you're not good enough, escalate the anxiety that you need to be better in order to secure a future for yourself. This is the beginning of what I like to call the systematic objectification that is dance training. Now, and I don't mean this in a horrible way at all, it's the practicality of getting the training done. But you're standing in front of a mirror for 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 hours a day. You're getting told, oh, you know, this could be improved. See if you can move like that, breathe more. Treating your body like a tool can lead to a real sense of detachment from yourself, and it's a massive catalyst when it comes to eating disorders, body dysmorphia, and just poor self-esteem, really. Dance requires attainment. It requires constant energy output. Now, this can be physically, and it can also be mentally and psychologically, and that can just lead to you being tired, just tired of putting things out there. What's particularly unique about my training is the amount of creativity and improvisation involved, and that also leads to a lot of exposing yourself, laying yourself quite emotionally bare. It's very similar to acting training in that respect. There's not a lot to be done to really change this. The long hours, the hard work, the objectification, it's actually really needed to just train and create a dancer. So when you look at all these things and look at how actually this process is kind of essential if we want to continue to train dancers the way we are, it makes us think about how we could potentially be doing better to support each other as peers, as dancers. You know, we know we're all going through this, and also on an institutional level, maybe think about how high the mental health side of things is being prioritised. I personally believe physical and mental health are over an equal level of importance, possibly mental health being more so. The body is just the vessel for the brain. So what about me? In my first year of training, I experienced a traumatic incident, and as a result of that I got PTSD. Now the thing about PTSD is it is not logical like every other mental health problem, and it's gone on and echoed into how I respond to the world around me, despite me being really over the incident that took place. I effectively, in my second year, after having a long time struggling with my regularity, my being able to maintain good routines, be in class all the time, be myself and fully with it, I really succumbed to quite serious depression and anxiety. I rolled into some really self-destructive habits, and I really was not doing great. Things started to slip for me. I was in class pretty much never, and the thing is once you start to fall behind, the stress of going back when you're anxious is so hard. It's really hard to do. So I missed a few classes, which turned into a lot of classes, which turned into a half term, and the more I missed, the harder it was to go back. Every day felt like waking up with pressing weight and pressing fear pushing down on me. I didn't realise this at the time because it was just how I existed, but I had no energy despite sleeping all day the day before. I was tired, I wasn't making videos, I wasn't making food, I wasn't doing anything to look after myself. Anyway, so that's the abridged version. I'm now retaking my technique classes so that I can progress within my degree. I'm prioritising my time 50-50 between dance training and videography. Career-wise, I don't know where things are taking me, but I think I'm going to be behind the camera more than dancing in front of it, is the idea. Things are looking up for me, they really are, but they're still hard and I'm still very much a work in progress. I don't think we ever stop being works in progress, but there is a point where the basic things feel easier. Getting to sleep, maintaining routine, getting stuff done becomes easier. From the perspective of someone that kind of got a lot of it wrong and is improving and is developing and is recovering, here's some tips that I found that kind of help you survive a crisis point if you're in one, maybe get yourself out, but also a lot of these preventative measures too. The first is to reflect, to check in with yourself from time to time to see how you're doing. As dancers, we get caught up in the hustle and we are excited by what we're doing and we forget to check in on how we are doing. I'm repeating myself. Basically, journaling is great, meditation is great, talking is great, thinking in the shower is great, a cup of tea with a friend, a pint and a cry with a mate. Whatever you need to just really check in with yourself and just see how you are. Because sometimes you'll realise that you're good and that's nice too. Self-awareness is key. The second thing, and it's the biggest mistake that I made when I was in a really rough spot, and that was that I isolated myself. I wasn't going in, and that meant I didn't feel like I could talk to my friends at school. My anxiety just really prevented me from reaching out and made me feel like people hated me, didn't want me around, yada yada yada. You know, we've all been there. I pretty much for a long time went through most stuff on my own. Most people just didn't know where I was in school, and that made it so much harder to come back. On the flip side, if you know someone that's struggling, or if someone's not been in at all, kind of really forcing a catch up out of them might be the thing they need to bring them out their shell. I know everyone's busy, but making time for someone can really turn things around for them. Saying that, don't give out all your energy. You can't help anyone until you help yourself, so there's that. A little thing, spend less time on social media. Rest. Have at least a day where you do nothing. Have at least a day where you're not grinding, you're not hustling, you are just letting your body recover, letting your brain recover, sleeping. We don't do a lot of that. Also, if you're feeling ill, take the day. If you're feeling completely overwhelmed, take the day. Sometimes just a day, a little break, can be what you need. Just check in to make sure that the repercussions of that day aren't going to cause more stress. I kept thinking I needed days where actually I just needed to get my ass to class, because the more I wasn't there, the more stressed I was that I was missing stuff. So that was a negative cycle. Understand when rest is constructive and positive, and then do it. Have a hobby. Have some time where you do something that's not dance, whether it's shopping, football, crochet. Have a hobby, preferably one that gets you out of the house, outside of the bubble that is your college. Uni and everything can be quite isolating. Realising the world's bigger can really reassure you that there's lots of walks of life, and maybe the one that specifically doesn't feel like it's going well is not the be-all and end-all. Talk to someone. When you're struggling, and if you've done reflection and realised that you're not okay, verbalising it helps a lot. So I have ADD, which means my thoughts just in my head. That combined with the symptoms I have from PTSD, which means I will relive stuff, repicture stuff, replay stuff compulsively. Talking to someone can really help settle it down, and verbalising things to another person is massively unburdening. It stops you feeling like it's a secret, and it helps you kind of understand things a little bit more, because sometimes you'll say something and you realise it doesn't sound right. I recommend a professional counsellor. I recommend everyone see the counsellor at some point. Another tip, in this toxic world of competition and self-comparison, being better won't make you feel better. Understand that you're never going to see yourself as a finished article, and you're always going to compare yourself to other people. Now, you might think being the best dancer in the room will make you feel like the best dancer in the room. It won't. I've spoken to the people that I deem to be the best dancers in the room, and they also feel like me. Everyone is comparing themselves to everyone all the time, and everyone thinks everyone's got something that they don't. Because they do, everyone's different. What leads to a real negative spiral is when you start obsessing about how to improve yourself because you think that's the key to feeling better. It's not. You kind of got to make your peace with who you are. It's a big task. So I think we need to start treating our physical health in the same way we do our mental health. If you've got a slight niggle, a slight injury, or something that's hurting, you'd go see a doctor, you'd go see a physio, you'd go get it checked, you'd ask your teacher. It should be the same with our mental health. If this isn't working from the neck down, nothing else will. Or even if it is, it won't feel like it is. So that's about it from me. I've talked a lot. You're not alone. No one is alone. The amount of people I've seen coming forward today has been really inspiring, hence me going through all this instead of watching Netflix tonight. If you're worried about yourself, you really don't think you can talk to anybody else, call 111 if you're at a crisis point. Speak to a friend, speak to a member of staff if you feel comfortable. They will keep it confidentially. There's loads of different online services now you can use. There's people out there to help, and you're not alone. Changing your material world can offer relief, but it comes from within, and that's why it takes time. Thank you so much for watching, and this video's meant a lot to me to share, and I hope that it helps someone and resonates with somebody. Let's keep this conversation going, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.